Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to decrease up and close the top of the hat because we did the cast on and the ribbing and then did the pattern and get up to here where we want to start the top of the hat and just knit onto your double pointed needles. I had 72 stitches, divide that by 4 for 4 needles, so I had 18 stitches on each needle, so you just knit 18 on, then go to the next needle, knit 18 on, off your circulars. Pretty easy, easiest way to get them on there. And what I do for my decreases, the simplest thing to do for, I think, is at the beginning of each needle, you knit 2 together. It gets a little bit tight up here, and you want to keep that first stitch really, really tight because you don't want to be a big gap between the needles because you can get gaps in between these double pointed. And then you go to the next needle. And the one that you're using just needs to stay on top where you've got good access to move it around. And you go right in there. And you do a knit 2 together, keeping it really tight, and then knit the next 2 stitches. Okay, I've gone around to all 4 needles, and I want to get down where I only have 8 stitches. So I'm going to do that again. We're going to knit 2 together. Just like that, and then knit the next stitch. And actually, you could probably just knit it on around on the other needle with as few as you've got, but we'll keep it like this. Knit 2 together. And knit the next one. You just go around in your circle. Knit 2 together, knit this one, and our last decrease will be, again, knit 2 together, whoops, it's tight once it gets in there, knit that last one. Okay, so you've got 8 stitches left up here. Don't need that one anymore. So I am going to get the tail of yarn, and I always get way too much of a tail of yarn, but that's okay. And then my needle, just a darning needle for stitching this up. And you go around to the top. You'd go in the needle that you would knit into next, and just take your darning needle and take off 2 stitches. Stitch that one. Oops, get it up to the top. 2 stitches. And you can go ahead and pull it through. There we go. And come on. 2 stitches. There's my tails along there. And the last 2 stitches. And then I go down through the middle of it and bring it up on the wrong side. And once I've got the hat wrong side out, then you can see which way it was put in. You just pull, and it just cinches it right down. And then you can feel where that is, and you just want to weave around it again, just to be sure that you've got everything tightened down. You don't want your hat to come undone. But You want to be sure that you're just catching the underneath stitches. You don't want the showing. Well, there you go. See, we're keeping it all hidden under here. I just kind of wander around, being sure that I've got everything as secure as possible. I probably overdo it a little bit, but you know, better that than it coming undone. And generally, I kind of take it back the opposite direction just a little, just to be sure that I'm kind of catching it on itself. And then you snip that. And when you turn it back right side out, you can see that it makes a little bit of a swirl design on the top. Now, some people don't like that. They like for it to be straight, but I kind of think it's cool to have the swirl on the top. And it's just super simple because you just decrease at the beginning of each needle. You don't have to remember a whole lot. And down here, if you remember, I need to stitch these. They were like 2 rows, and I need to go back in and stitch that together. And then put in the tail and hide that. And once I do that, it will be completely finished. It's just a little beanie. Not a great big warm woolly hat, but just a cute little beanie. And the pattern, believe it or not, is this pattern, which was just a free pattern from Michaels for a cabled capelet. And it actually has the same number of stitches as what I normally do on a hat like this, which is 72 stitches on size 8 needles with worsted weight yarn. And this pattern actually is using size 13 needles with a big thick yarn, a bulky weight, I would imagine. And but it's the same number of stitches. It's 72 stitches. So I just exactly followed the pattern from the bottom all the way up to the top, and instead of putting on the ribbing, I started decreasing for the top of my hat. So that is where I got my inspiration. Kind of cool to come up with something a little bit different than the pattern, if you like a pattern. But anyway, that is the beanie hat right there, and there's how to do the top. Bye.